This is Gail Kovac with Gresham Barlow School District, Summer School, High School Credit Recovery, and Data Reasoning. We're on learning target number 1. I can determine if a question is statistical or not. So different kinds of questions we can answer. Some of those are statistical and some aren't. A statistical question is anything where you have to do like statistical procedures in order to answer. Oftentimes that's finding an average and not just have a one set answer that you could potentially Google. So the real big thing here is there variability in the answers? Is this answers over time where lots of people could respond in different ways or across different regions? So for example, the first question says, how many guests does Vinny's Italian restaurant serve per night on average? This is a statistical question because it's not asking just maybe for one night, like how much did they make tonight, or how much did they make on tips tonight, or how many plates of spaghetti did they serve tonight. That's just, well, we just look back at our records and see what that one answer is. There's no variability or different kinds of answers there. But if you want to know on average over time, maybe some nights they serve more guests, maybe other nights they serve fewer guests. Typically the weekends are busier, but you want to see kind of how Vinny's restaurant has done over time on average. You would have to look up some numbers. You could maybe display all those values on a graph. You could find some measures of center and spread like average. That's what makes it a statistical question. So as it's written, the first one is a statistical question. The next one says, how old is the President of the United States? That one is not a statistical question. That's because right now you could Google how old is the president and Google's going to tell you one answer. There is just one set answer for that. Now you could change it. This problem wants you to rewrite it so that it is a statistical question if it's not. So perhaps instead of just how old is the President of the United States now, maybe you want to look at all the presidents of the United States or presidents in different countries, or maybe the age at which the presidents were inaugurated and served in office, something like that. So we could change it to say something like, how old were all the US presidents when they took office? So to answer that question, you would have to do a lot of looking up of different values, and you could potentially graph all those different answers on a graph and kind of do some analysis, statistical analysis there when they took office. And because you're going to get variability of answers, some presidents were much younger when they took office, some presidents were a lot older when they took office, so kind of like what's the average for all of those, or something like that. Or if you wanted to look at just not the US president, but maybe all presidents or monarchs or leaders of the globe, and you could even do that for today, or you could do that over time, you know, ever, something like that. That would take a lot of research. So that's what makes it a statistical question, is when there's variability of answers. And the third one says, how many cats are adopted from shelters each year? This is a statistical question because that would take a lot of looking up and a lot of data analysis to find out each year, kind of on average or typically, cats adopted from shelters. And this could be in a county, this could be in a state, this could be in a country, this could be globally. So there's a lot of data of different answers that could be out there. Maybe some years there's more cats adopted than other years, so you could have different answers over the spans of the years. A non-statistical question along the same vein would be, how many cats were adopted from this particular shelter today, or this particular shelter this week, or maybe on this day across the US, something like that. That is one answer. And that is something you could potentially Google or look up or could figure out. And there is just one correct answer. There's not a variety of potential answers. So if determining if a question is a statistical question, there has to be variability of answers involved. If there's just one answer, then it is not statistical. You want to create it so that it's maybe over time or comparing different times or different regions. And often if you're asking for an average, then that's going to be a statistical question.